Hey YouTube, this is the Angry Gun Nerd here with another video for you. This one is about my gunsmithing tools. I fix my own guns. I was actually asked at the range last night while I was shooting with a friend, who fixed my guns? And the guy looked kind of stunned when I said I fixed my guns. So anyway, that made me think I should do a video. What I got, how I use this stuff. So, what you see right here, in total is like 150 bucks worth of stuff. Doesn't really look like it. But this is the expensive part. This by itself was like 80 bucks. And I know you can get them cheaper than that on sale sometimes, but this Dremel tool, and it came with like, a kit full of bits and all that, and it was about 80 bucks. Let's get that out of the way. So, good thing to have. This one only has 2 speeds. You can get ones that have variable speeds and all sorts of little ends for buffing and polishing and grinding and cutting and all sorts of great stuff. So sometimes you get some parts, maybe for a surplus gun, they don't quite fit. You need to make them fit. And this is also a great way. If you use one of the wire wheels, you can get some rust off of some hard to reach places and stuff like that. So, great tool to have. If you're going to do some gunsmithing, you're going to work on guns a lot, get yourself a Dremel tool. Put that down. Next we got some files. And these files are really small. You can see this one, a little handle. But some of these are flat, some of these are curved. This particular one has got a little beveled edge to it. And these are really great for doing things like getting burrs out of firing pin channels. Just, general work on guns where you got to get a burr out of something really small, weird place maybe. I've also used these to work on 22 chambers, because when people dry fire 22s, sometimes the firing pin will impact the edge of the chamber and cause the chamber to not be round anymore. It'll get kind of like a little bit of a bump in it. So if I just stick that in there and just rub it just a little bit right on that edge there, sometimes it'll be enough to let those 22s slide in and out of the gun again. So this whole set, there's more to the set, but these are just a few that I had right on hand. The whole set's like 15 bucks from Brownells. Recommend it. Get yourself a nice set of files. With files you get what you pay for. Cheap files, they don't last that long. These are cheap files, I'm not going to lie. But considering the amount I use them, not much, fine with me. Okay, next we got my hammer. Keep this in my range bag. It's little, and it's got a little rawhide end, and it's got a brass end, and these are about $6 to buy them at your local gun show. Good thing to have. You've got this end for not marring stuff, and this end for really pounding on stuff. So, it's good. Also, some punches. This is a 3-set punch set, made in USA. Got this, I think Home Depot, 10 bucks. And, 3 common sizes. And literally, I can do anything I need to with just 3 punches. You don't need to get yourself a huge punch set, especially to start. A few will probably do you. I've also got some of these screwdrivers. I'm sure you've seen these. Everybody seems to have seen these. These precision screwdrivers, you get them in a set of 3 or 4 or 5. And I don't really use this for turning things. I do in some occasions where I need something that's really small towards the tip. But what I mainly use this for is for leverage. Because I could use something like my punch, or I could use something like this, one of these files. But I prefer to use this because it has a nice handle. And, also get in there and scrape some things if you need to. So, next, I have a set of Allen wrenches, also called Allen keys. And, get these, a set like this for cheap, maybe like $5. These are just cheapies. But having them all together in one set like this, not on a ring, not in a bag, but together in this kind of this fashion where it's almost like a pocket knife, is actually quite nice to keep in a range bag. So in case you have something that, has Allen keys that needs, a little bit of tightening while you're on the range, sometimes stuff gets loose, and I can't tell you how many times I've been the only guy on the firing line that has this, and people need it. Whether it's for adjusting sights, or for, putting guns back together that are getting loose or whatever. It's good to have these tools. Even if you don't need them, somebody else might, and that might really save somebody's day. Next, pliers. Good stuff. These feel really nice, and they were $3, and they're good for pulling on springs and just lining stuff up, getting stuff in place. Definitely worth $3. Next, we've got basic screwdriver. This is a screwball, but you can use a cheap one that has these bits that come out. And the reason I got one that has these bits that can come out is because I went and I got a set of bits from Harbor Freight Tools. So I will show you that next. It's a set of bits. It was $10, but I really think it was worth it because I've got everything I'm ever going to need. And it's got 10 different sizes of flats, and then it's got star bits, and it's got star bits with holes in them, and it's got the square drive ones, and it's got Allen keys, and it's got Phillips, and it's got all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm never going to use half this stuff, but you know what? I thought it was cool. $10, sure, why not? What I do use are all the different flats, because you get some that are not only different lengths but different widths. You got to make sure that when you're trying to crank on a really tight screw that you use the correct size, because you need something that fits in there well and it's going to engage both sides of the slot of the screw and really turn that out well without stripping it out. Next, this is another Harbor Freight purchase, and this is digital caliper. Now these are made by Centec, I guess is the name on this one. Who knows who really makes them? But Frankfurt Arsenal makes one that is completely identical to this. Thing is, the Frankfurt Arsenal one is $25. This one was $10. And literally, it's the same thing. So, this is good if you need to measure the size of parts, the width of springs, things like that before you order your parts. And as you can see, right here, you can measure how wide something is. And also, on the other end here, you can measure how wide something is. See how that goes apart like that? You can measure, the width of like a hole in something to make sure you get the right size spring. So, the last thing I have for my gunsmithing tools, snap caps. I've got 22, 32, and 380 in here. I've also got 9. I've got a bunch of other ones. So, what I like to do with these is these cheap plastic ones. After you've put in a firing pin or put in an extractor or something, you don't want to function test the firearm with live ammunition while you're in your home, because you don't want that going off just in case. So what I do is I'll throw one of those in there and try and eject it, try and strike it with a firing pin, and you can see on here if it's been struck. Pretty cool. And some of the other ones, like this red one here, what you do to test the firing pin is put a very small piece of masking tape on the base of the snap cap and then throw it in the gun. And then when your firing pin strikes it, you'll see a mark in the tape. So even though these are supposed to be used repetitively, you can still tell if you've got an individual strike on it, which is cool. Also, these are great for tube feed guns. If you're fixing a tube feed gun, like say like a Marlin 60 or any of the 22 tube feed guns, and you want to see if the thing will cycle, see if it will feed and extract and feed and extract, just throw some of these down in there. I also carry these with me sometimes when I'm going looking for guns, because nobody's going to let you chamber a live round in their gun shop. But these, they're not going to care, and you want to make sure you're getting something that works. So I don't not only use these with gunsmithing, but also when I'm going out to buy guns. So I think that is it for my gunsmithing stuff. So in total, there's like $155 worth of stuff, because you got $10 for the caliber, you got $6 for the hammer, you got, let's see, $10 for the punch set, and $80 for the Dremel, as I said to begin with. Let's say $5 worth of snap caps, this cheap stuff. The file set was $16, and the Allen keys, we will say $5. And then the pliers, $3, and the set of bits I had underneath here was $10, and the screwdriver set of these was $5, so we're at $155. And keep in mind, you can keep the price a lot lower if you go with a Dremel style tool that is not particularly Dremel brand. You can get this stuff down to a lot cheaper. And the way I think about it, the way I rationalize this purchase is, if I'm paying a gunsmith, I'm paying him $60 an hour or more. So think about it as 2 or 2.5 hours worth of a gunsmith's time. And I'd much rather have the tools and fix it myself, and have the satisfaction of fixing it myself. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you get some good stuff to fix your guns. Alright, bye.